Welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype guide. We are diving into the most fiery and self-sacrificial archetype in the game. Ashened is a lineup of dark attribute pyro-type monsters built around the field spell Obsidian, the Ashen City. This archetype is known for its explosive board wipes, granting your opponent a monster deliberately, then using that to trigger massive effects and fusion plays. Hero of the Ashen City is your destruction enabler that lets you destroy a pyro monster on the field during either player's main phase. If you destroy Vados, the Eruption Dragon of Extinction, you even get to place Obsidian, the Ashen City, straight from your deck to your field zone. Best to use Hero once you already have Vados ready to go, since the combo instantly sets up your main field spell and starts your plays. King of the Ashen City is your main extender that lets you special summon another Ashen monster, either from your hand or directly from the deck if your opponent controls a big monster. Best to use King after you've set up Obsidian, as it helps you swarm the field fast and get to your combo pieces in no time. Priestess of the Ashen City is your main searcher that adds any Ashen card from your deck to your hand when summoned. Best to use Priestess early in your combo to fetch Vados or Obsidian, but you can also save her for later turns to recover from a destroyed setup. Shaman of the Ashen City is your recycler that shuffles 3 pyro monsters from your GY or banished zone back into the deck, and if you include an Ashened, you get to add Obsidian from your deck to your hand. Best to use Shaman mid to late game to refuel your resources, but it's also a solid backup plan when you need your field spell again. Spearhead of the Ashen City is your removal card that lets you tribute itself to bounce any card your opponent controls if they have a 2800 plus attack monster. Best to use Spearhead as a quick answer to boss monsters or stubborn floodgates, but it can also trigger combos by freeing your zones. Vados, the Eruption Dragon of Extinction, is your centerpiece that starts everything. It destroys a field zone card to special summon itself to your opponent's field, then adds or sets an Ashen continuous trap from your deck. If it gets sent from your opponent's field to your GY, it nukes all monsters on the field. Best to use Vados to blow up Obsidian, triggering your field spell's effect and chaining into powerful board setups, but time it carefully, that field-wide wipe can affect you too. Queen of the Blazing Domain is your self-summoning powerhouse that can destroy up to 2 of your own cards to special summon itself, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. If you destroy 2 cards, it gains a floodgate-like effect that banishes any monster sent to your opponent's GY. Best to use Queen when you can afford to pop your own cards, especially Obsidian or Dead Continuous spells, since she both triggers your combos and pressures your opponent's board. Embers of the Ashened is your fusion that recovers a field spell from the GY when summoned, and it destroys any pyro it battles before damage calculation, then attacks again if it's your turn. Best to use Embers when you've already used Obsidian once. It brings it right back for another round while staying aggressive on the field. Vados, the Dragon of Endless Darkness, is your ultimate boss monster that destroys all your opponent's spells and traps upon fusion summon, and can destroy any activated card by sending an Ashen card you control to the GY. It's also untargetable by monster effects and can't be destroyed by them. Best to use Endless Darkness as your finishing move. Clear your opponent's back row and secure the board, but make sure you've got spare Ashen cards to fuel its quick effect. Obsidian, the Ashen City, is your main field spell that keeps your Ashened engine running. When it's destroyed or banished, you can special summon any Ashen monster straight from your deck, and it even lets you recycle itself during the end phase by putting a copy back into the deck to draw 1 card. Best to use Obsidian early to get your plays started. Combo it with Vados, the Eruption Dragon of Extinction, to trigger its destruction effect and instantly summon from your deck. Extinguishing the Ashened is your setup and fusion enabler that sends a dark pyro monster from your deck to the GY and then lets you add a high-level pyro back to your hand. Later, it can banish itself from the GY to perform a pyro fusion summon using your field or hand. Best to use Extinguishing to both load your GY with key cards like Vados and prepare your fusion plays. It's perfect for setting up Vados, the Dragon of Endless Darkness. Bonfire is your simple but powerful search card that adds any level 4 or lower pyro monster from your deck to your hand. Best to use Bonfire to grab your combo starters like Priestess of the Ashen City, but it's flexible enough to search anything that fits your current setup. Inferno of the Ashened is your utility continuous spell that not only places Obsidian, the Ashen City, directly from your deck, but also lets you send an opponent's card to the GY while summoning one of your pyro monsters to their field. Best to use Inferno alongside Vados, since it helps control the board while enabling your field spell and give your opponent a monster combos. Awakening of Vados is your quick play searcher and setup card that places Obsidian, the Ashen City, straight from your deck and can add a dark pyro if your opponent already controls a field spell. Best to use Awakening to instantly get your engine rolling on either turn, but remember you'll be locked into pyros afterward, so plan your chain carefully. Rekindling the Ashened is your defensive quick play spell that recycles an Ashened card from your GY or banished zone back into the deck and negates the effects of one opponent's monster until the end of the turn. Best to use Rekindling mid or late game to disrupt your opponent's key monster while resetting important cards like Obsidian or Ashened for Eternity. Ashened for Eternity is your resource recovery and control trap that recycles Vados the Eruption Dragon of Extinction or any Ashen monster, then lets you take control of an opponent's monster that you own and weaken all their remaining monsters. Best to use Ashened for Eternity after giving your opponent Vados, since you can steal it back and swing the game immediately with a massive attack drop. Ashened to Endlessness is your fusion powerhouse that lets you fusion summon a pyro monster using materials from either field, including Vados the Eruption Dragon of Extinction, while giving the summon monster an extra 500 attack per material. It can also banish itself and a dark pyro to turn all opponent monsters into pyros. Best to use Ashened to Endlessness as your main offensive push, fuse during your opponent's turn for disruption or on your turn to summon Vados the Dragon of Endless Darkness and clear their back row. The main goal of the Ashen deck is to get the Archetype field spell, summon your Ashen monsters from the hand, use effects like those of Vados the Eruption Dragon of Extinction to destroy field spells and abuse the resulting effects. Obsidian makes all face-up special summoned monsters your opponent controls become pyro during your turn. That sets up big plays and enables cards like Super Polymerization to use your opponent's monsters. You'll often destroy that field spell intentionally with Vados to trigger Obsidian's effect, then summon Ashen monsters straight from the deck. All Ashened main deck monsters can special summon themselves from your hand if Obsidian is on the field. This gives the deck massive swarming capability and can lead into links, Xyzs, or even straight into fusion mechanics. Vados' effect lets you special summon it to your opponent's field while destroying a field zone card. Then if it gets sent to your GY from your opponent's field, you destroy all monsters. This strange mechanic flips the usual get it on your side logic and uses giving your opponent stuff as part of your own strategy. Using cards like Ashen to Endlessness or Vados' fusion counterpart, you can blow up the opponent's back row and clear boards. Often the deck sets itself up for a big fusion turn after using Obsidian's Pyro Conversion effect. More importantly, Obsidian's effect during the end phase lets you take a copy from the GY to the bottom of the deck and draw a card, then other cards recycle your Ashen monsters. This helps the deck recover from heavy board wipes or disruption. However, the Ashened archetype does have major weak points you need to watch out for. If Obsidian is destroyed, removed, or its effect prevented, the entire engine stalls because the special summons and pyro conversions depend on it. Without it, most Ashen monsters can't even hit the field. Because the deck often relies on cards like the Searchers for Vados or the field spell itself, hand trap disruption like Duel and Lockbird or denial of the search kills the engine early. The deck's big fusion turn can be shut down by cards like Dimensional Barrier because the deck uses fusion often or other lockdowns that prevent fusion summons. Once that line is shut, the deck's big finishers struggle. Many of the Ashened effects rely on destroying your own or opponent's cards or having effects that trigger via destruction. If the opponent's monsters are immune to destruction or unaffected by your effects, the deck struggles. And as a relatively new archetype, the Ashened have fewer cards, so you'll often need to tech outside support or run engines to fill gaps. This means you may draw poorly or lack key combo pieces. Therefore, the Ashened archetype offers a bold, aggressive, and thematic playstyle, leveraging give your opponent mechanics, board wipes, and sacrifice of your own field spell to pull off big plays. It's creative and has high potential. So if you enjoy decks that feel like a dark ritual, a gamble, and a blast at the same time, then Ashen might just be for you. Gather your pyros, summon Obsidian, and set the world ablaze.